takes courage to make the call to Lifeline. So what actually happens when you make the call?
A trained crisis supporter will answer your call and listen without judgment.
It takes courage to make the call to Lifeline. So what if you don't know how to explain how you're feeling?
I'm here to listen, so just take your time, breathe, and we can talk when you're ready.
It takes courage to make the call to Lifeline. And the truth is that not all calls are related to thoughts about suicide.
People call Lifeline for all sorts of reasons. Financial difficulties, anxiety, loneliness, or even worried about someone else.
It takes courage to make the call to Lifeline. So what if you don't know how to explain how you're feeling?
I'm here to listen. Just take your time, breathe, and we can talk when you're ready.
It takes courage to make the call to Lifeline. And the truth is that not all calls are related to thoughts about suicide.
People call Lifeline for all sorts of reasons. Financial difficulties, anxiety, loneliness, and even when they're worried about someone else.
Are people afraid to call, or are they nervous when they call?
A lot of people are really frightened to call the first time. I think picking up the phone for the first time is, so powerful, and it takes so much courage, just to get on the phone. When you call up, you can expect to talk to a trained crisis supporter. They're used to people who are anxious or uncomfortable with discussing their feelings.
Yeah.
So we like people to take their time and come to the call, in their own way.
Cool. And look, I've had people ask me, can I remain anonymous? Do I have to give up my name and address and all of those sort of things? How does that work?
It's an anonymous service, so the phone calls themselves are completely confidential, and we don't have a way of identifying you. You're not required to give your name unless you're comfortable to do so and request to be called by your name. It is anonymous.
Cool. And what do you actually do? So what sort of advice are you going to give somebody? If somebody's, we know it's not all about thoughts about suicide. It could be, domestic violence or financial stuff. So what sort of advice, what sort of supports can people get?
First of all, you'll have a non-judgmental, understanding ear. A lot of the time when people call up, they haven't discussed the issues that they're calling about with anybody else. So first and foremost, it's an opportunity to talk to somebody in a non-judgmental way, and also with somebody that's just going to listen and connect with them and hear their story, hear their pain, and then we can move wherever the person wants to go or the caller wants to go within that call.
Awesome. And my last question for you is, if I call up and I don't know how to put in words what's going on for me, I can't explain my feelings.
Take your time.
Yep.
We're here to listen to you in a non-judgmental way. We often find people will call up and begin with a small issue and then move to what they really want to talk about as well, and that often happens.
Yeah.
But most of all, just understand that we are here to listen to you, and we're ready to talk when you are.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No
That's
worries.
brilliant.
So it's completely anonymous. We don't know where you're calling from. We don't know who you are. We don't know, what, socioeconomic, race, age, gender, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, we're literally just there with an open mind and just listening.
The Bouncing Back program, it's all about club members and mates identifying when somebody's struggling and being able to have the right language and the right tools to engage. And the thought that somebody could just, recognise that somebody's struggling and come to Lifeline and get advice on how to interact with that person, that could save somebody's life.
Yeah.
And it's quite a simple thing to do, but that's really the key to it.
Yeah.
And what about, so, I talk to the guys as well. The idea is that, if your mate doesn't want to talk but he wants to be a part of it, you can chuck the phone on the table and put it on speakerphone.
Yeah, absolutely. You just call up and say, hey, I'm with a mate, doesn't really feel comfortable talking by himself. Do you mind if, we both have you on speaker and just sort of talk through it together?
What we want to do is change the culture around mental health and change the language about mental health. And it's working towards getting rid of this eat a bag of concrete, get over it, princess, toughen up, princess, sort of stuff. So what would you say to people who have been nervous about calling Lifeline, or ashamed to reach out, or embarrassed to reach out? What would you say to them?
Just say that we don't listen with any judgment, and it's completely anonymous. Like, if you don't like the call or you don't like who you're speaking to, you can hang up and call again, and you get a different person, and you can just keep trying. And because we're all real people on the line, and we do generally just want to help you through that process. And this idea that men can't talk about their feelings and open up, it really is outdated. Like, it really is. And it's such a shame to see young blokes especially and not talk about their feelings and feel like they can't. So Lifeline's a perfect space for it, where it's completely anonymous. You can trial things, and if you're not ready to talk, we'll stay patient on the line and we'll help you through it. And
Mate, that is so good. Thank you so much for spending time talking to me, and thank you for the amazing work that you do with Lifeline as well.
Not a worry. Cheers.
Mate.